good evening. Happy Tuesday. Here we are again. We meet again. And I will be with you every single evening this week and next week as well. So I am so sorry that I'm a couple minutes late. I'm going to give you a little time to hop on. If you don't know me, my name is Kelly Dunlap. Wellness, beauty, lifestyle, fat loss coach, and I am here to talk to you guys about feeling spongy and bloated, okay? Super simple, easy. You're going to be like, oh my gosh, I had no idea. Seriously, this is going to blow your mind. Some of you may already know this, but it's really easy. So I am going to just give you a moment for people to hop on. I'm going to have some water here. Huge glass of water. All right, so hope that you got some great tips and value from my live last night. We had talked about how to keep the pounds off through the holidays, and I know that it is going to start happening soon as far as like all these events, and you know, all the girls are going to say, we're going to get our date together and all that other stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and get those notes together for you, and I'll have those within the next 24 hours. I tried to get to them today, but it just wasn't happening. Okay, so as a part of my series, I have several topics, and I choose topics that I feel that I get questions about often. And I think also topics that I feel that would help you the most, topics that I think that are simple and that could give you quick wins. And what I mean by that is just give you those most effective tips that if I give this information to you, that you can sign off and make the change right away. And that is my goal. My goal is always to help, share, teach, and coach. So what I want to talk to you about is about feeling spongy and bloated and just looking puffy. So there's a couple of reasons. One of the main reasons is it's about the quality of the carbohydrate that you're eating. Now, some of you may have already suspected that, some of you may know that, but most of you may not know this fact, okay? Before I move on and talk to you about the fact, I want to direct you also and to make sure that you read my post that I had talked about earlier this week, or maybe it was late last week, I can't remember, and I had talked about the quality of the carbohydrates and how there are your good carbs that are like slow digesting and detoxifying and that sort of thing, and then you have your poor quality starches, which I call starch. Okay, and that would be like white potatoes, you know, anything obvious. You know, some of them are obvious, but like even a watermelon I consider starch because of the glycemic index. So for example, my clients, I direct them to a certain amount of starch bites. So those types of carbohydrates are limited, and they're limited for a reason, for a couple reasons, mostly because I don't want them to be tipped over into an insulin type of a spiking response. We want to keep them in like the steady eddy state. We don't want their body igniting into a fat storing shitstorm. Shitstorm is my word, or my words. That's a Kellyism. Okay, so what I want to get into about the quality of the carbs, clearly I had said you have like two different carbs, and there is the starchy type and then there's the good quality, okay? So when it comes to carbs, and I'm talking like your bad, shitty carbs, I want you to listen to me and hear me out. Got my notes, because you know me, I need my notes. Are you ready for this? You're going to be like, what? Okay. Every 1 gram of carbs that you consume holds 3 grams of water. Did you hear me? 1 gram of carbs holds roughly 3 grams of water. Okay? Now that is crazy insane. Now here's the deal. As a fat loss coach, and as somebody that talks to women on a daily basis and sees their diet where it was and where it is now, for example, with my clients, their diet is completely different than it used to be, okay? Hi, Jen. Hi, Jamie. Hi, Ash. So here's the thing. When you have your diet consisting of, let's say, those starchy carbs, you are going to be retaining a ton of water, okay? So this is kind of a pattern that my clients end up in. they end up, okay, let's say they start at this weight. And then after the first week of following the protocol that I put them on, boom. And they're like, holy crap, where did that weight come from? You can't lose a large amount of fat in that short amount of time. But what we did lose was water. So here's the deal, and I'm going to talk to you about this. This is why I don't like the scale, but this is why I love the scale. In my program, for example, I use the scale just to gauge water weight. That is it. Does that make sense to you now? So if you are somebody that is a scale lover, this really should make you look at your relationship with that scale much differently now. It will now make sense that when you weigh yourself at 6 o'clock at night versus in the morning after you've gone to the bathroom and that sort of thing, you're going to have much different numbers. So this is what always cracks me up about the scale. People allow it to fuck with their head. People allow it to give them their worth or not. People give the scale so much control, but in actuality, they're just watching their water most of the time. And when people that weigh themselves every day and they're like, I don't understand. How did I gain 5 pounds? Well, it could have been the 4 pieces of pizza that you ate last night. It could be the wine. It could be, you know what I'm saying? So it's water. So here's the thing. I'm here to give you some good news, and I'm also here to give you bad news, right? It's kind of like one of this, like, you're kind of like, wait, this is good, but yet this is bad. Okay? So here's the deal. And I want to just say this one more time. Every 1 gram of carbohydrate holds roughly 3 grams. So let me take this a little bit further. 1 pound, okay, 1 pound is the equivalent of roughly 454 grams, all right? You following me here? So if someone consumes 200 grams of carbohydrates, let's do the math, okay? That's about 600 grams of water. Boom, booyah. Do you see what I'm getting at, people? Okay? It's about your carbohydrate intake. And then you wonder why you're looking all puffy and spongy and okay? The other fact of the matter is that there's a lot of food sensitivities, and we'll talk about that in just a moment. Here's the deal. The quality of your food is generally not as healthy as you think that it is. Sorry to tell you. So, when I sit down and I have like my first phone call with my client, and I usually take about an hour with them, and we see each other face to face, and no, we're not in person. I do this over Zoom, kind of like this. Like we're looking at each other. It's kind of like a FaceTime meeting that I do with my clients. The very first call, I have them send me their food log. And when I see their food log, most of the time they're like, oh my God, I had no idea. Here I thought I was eating healthy and making good choices, and holy shit balls, I wasn't. Okay? It's really mind-blowing, because when it comes to foods, let's just face it, there's a lot of creative marketing out there, okay? And people tend to eat a lot of packaged food. Tip for you, stay out of the middle of the fucking grocery store. Okay, and you know what, you guys know I'm a swearer. If you don't like swearing, then you're not my person, okay? I'm a swearer, okay, because I get so passionate about certain things, and I'm just so like, oh, stay out of the middle. What is in the middle? Processed, packaged stuff. Now, mind you, yes, you're going to have to get some things in there. I understand. I get that. You can't completely stay out of the middle, but don't make the majority of your items come from the middle of the store, okay? What's along the edges of the grocery store? Meats, dairy, which dairy isn't all that great either, and I can do a whole other live on that one. It's all your fresh stuff, your produce, meats, okay? So I don't know about you, but I end up going to probably 3 different stores by the time I'm done grocery shopping. It's like an all-day affair. It's kind of a pain in the ass, which is kind of nice to have these types of things like door-to-door organics and things like that can deliver to your door. But like I'll go to Vincent Joe's and Shots for my meats, depending on what's going on. I'll usually call and they'll have a whole large order put together for me. Kroger for my garbage. Just being honest, garbage junk food comes from Kroger. It just is what it is, because that's where I have to buy the things that are in the middle of the store. And I need to get things that, you know, like maybe crackers or chips or whatever it is, generally that my husband and my kids eat. Okay, you know, they're still at that stage, especially like my youngest. He's not quite at that stage where he's conscientious about what he's eating. Okay, so Kroger is where I get that kind of stuff. I don't go to Costco because that is just like Target. It's an easy 150 plus, right? Okay, so let's get back to the task here. So let me just say this one more time for those of you that are just joining. It's about the carbs that you're eating, the quality of carbs as well. So now you've got your good, and then you've got your starchy, which I call bad carbs, okay? So you want to stick towards carbs that are fresh, whole foods, satiating, detoxifying, fibrous, yummy vegetables, okay? That type of carb. The other carbs you want to limit. Those are the carbs that are going to suck up water, okay? You are going to, every 1 gram of carb, you're going to hold 3 grams of water, okay? So, you know, when you go on these low carb diets and all this stuff, and you like, oh my gosh, I lost 10 pounds in 2 weeks. Well, once you go back to eating the garbage food, you're going to gain that shit back. You're going to gain the water, okay? So when it comes to weight loss, a lot of times that is what you're just losing is the water, and what you're not tapping into is your behaviors. That is the biggest piece of the puzzle. Behaviors, mindset, habit loops, hormones, okay? Those matter most. Yes, calories matter too, okay? But this is why people go here and here and here and here. It's like they start and then they're like, okay, yeah, this is great, woo! And they're like, oh, wait, this isn't so fun. Yeah, was that so bad? Where was that before? Yeah, you know, I think I'm just going to go back to what I was doing. Yeah, it was so much easier, you know. That's the behaviors that people are not recognizing. They're not realizing that they have habit loops and different self-destructive type behaviors that they fall back into. They just think, I need this quick fix. I want this diet pill. I want somebody to tell me what to eat. Well, guess what? It doesn't work like that. You, my friend, have to listen to the biofeedback from your own body. If I handed you a blanket diet and said, here, have this, Jamie, and you ate these foods that you think are going to make you lose weight and get your desired result, well, you have no idea if these foods are going to give you a negative response. Here's an example. I have a client who had some white potato as like her starch bites, and she said, oh my God, I had no idea that that food was going to trigger me into wanting to eat sweets and more carbs and more carbs. So I said, okay, case in point, what if I handed you a blanket diet, my dear, and that was something that you were supposed to eat every day? Now, wouldn't that be a disaster? This is why you cannot go on these blanket diets, because they don't work. Okay, they just don't work. They might work at first, but when you really dig into it and you start to listen to your body, it's going to tell you what it needs and what it doesn't need, and what it likes and what it doesn't like. That said, let's talk about sensitivities. And this is another reason why you might look puffy and bloated. An example, you have heard me talk about my allergic shiners that I get. And maybe you have noticed them. Maybe I've never said anything during a live that we've talked, but I am very open about when I get these weird pockets of fluid underneath my eyes, and it's because of foods or drinks that I have had that my body does not like. I look like shit, like I was hit with a bag of fucking nickels. I mean, it is just not a good situation for me when I have like certain beers, wines, foods, dairy. Gluten is a huge one. If you are somebody that has a thyroid issue, do not eat gluten and dairy. Trust me on this, okay? That is a huge nugget of information for you. Your doctor will not tell you this. A naturopathic doctor will, or somebody like me who is into the hormones and understands the thyroid and the gut health and all that other stuff, that will be a big, huge issue for you. Your gut governs your thyroid. It's like your second brain, okay? I could go on this. This could be a whole other live, which I think I did do a live on this before. So the fact of the matter is that I know that there's certain foods that I can have. So let's just say I decided to go on Sally Sue's blanket diet, and she said, here, you're going to have this every single day. Do you see what I'm saying? This is why it is so important that you have to listen to your body, learn your biofeedback, and understand your own metabolic fingerprint. Now, food sensitivities, like I said, are huge. That will also cause that autoimmune type of response, okay? And here's another nugget for you. I know, for example, and you may notice this yourself as well, when you eat something that your body doesn't like, and I have my allergic shiners, they're going to stick around for at least 4 to 5 days. Okay, so you're going to have that negative response stick around for that long. Okay, so if you are noticing that you have, like you feel lethargic, you're retaining water, you look puffy, you get pockets under your eyes like I do, well then just know, like, oh my God, I can't have that, right? So this is the deal. Let me repeat it one more time. 1 gram of carbs holds 3 grams of water, okay? Consume, let's say, 200 grams of carbs, which is easy to do. A lot of people do it, and they don't even realize it, okay? That's about 600 grams of water, which would explain nearly 2 pounds of water retention. So let me give you an example. In my program, my gals can have, but most of them choose not to, a cheat meal, because once they start to feel better and they have all this energy and they realize that these foods don't speak to them well, they kind of opt out on their cheat meal. But when they do, I recommend that they have it on a Friday or a Saturday because of the autoimmune responses of water retention and those types of things that can stick around for 4 to 5 days. Every Friday is their weigh and measure day. So if they have their cheat meal on a Friday or Saturday, that gives them plenty of time to expel the water and any bullshit that they have going on, so then we can get an exact read on Friday. So if somebody has a cheat meal, let's say, well, I'm going to have my cheat meal on Thursday night, and they have 2 slices of pizza, and then they have some chips, and they have a beer, and this and that. Well, it's going to screw up their numbers. It's going to manipulate everything, and it's not going to be a true reading. Okay, does that make sense to you? So I had a client once, had pizza the night before the weigh and measure day. She literally, she gained, I don't know, it was 2 or 3 pounds. But it doesn't surprise me. And I told her, don't let that number screw with your head. It's water. Weigh yourself in 3 days. Guarantee you will be back to your original number or less than. Okay? So, this is the deal. Most people have a lifelong struggle with their weight. And a lot of it it's just about self-control, you guys. It is a process. It's not going to happen overnight. You have to understand that you have layers upon layers upon layers of brainwashed dieters mindset and misinformation. Okay, there's a lot of misinformation out there. I cannot even tell you, okay? But the fact of the matter is, nobody knows you like you do. And the power has to come from within, and it all has to come with you making a conscious decision and a choice. There are choices to be made. Here's the thing. I teach my clients that you have habits and you have things that are never going to go away. They will always pop up. That ugly head is always going to pop up. But it's our job to recognize, okay? It's our job to recognize and then create something new, because the habit loop is what our brain loves. I've talked to you guys about habit loops before. Your brain loves habits because it conserves energy. So here's the deal. We know that we're always going to have this loop ongoing in our brain. It's like a 1984 cassette tape. You can't record over it, okay? But what you can do is create a new habit, and therefore you have a choice, my friend. So that is what it comes down to. That's where your self-control comes from. That's where it's going to come from, our choices. You can make the choice to go down this path, or you can make the choice to go down this path. And which path you choose will determine if your vibration is going to get raised or if it's going to lower. Because let's face it, when you make that choice, that conscious decision and a choice where you know it's not such a good one, like maybe having that extra beer or eating the Doritos or whatever it may be in your life. You know, choices, we make them all day long. It's going to determine how we feel, right? Okay, so let me see. What else did I write down here? I always have some, you know me. I'm always writing stuff down. All right, so I believe, this is what I wrote down. I believe we all long for it, but it can only come from within, okay? So you need to decide, do you want to take back your self-control? Okay, that's what it comes down to, because when it comes to food, where did I write it down at? Here it is. I gotta read this because this was like really heartfelt. When you are struggling with your weight, okay, you're carrying feelings of disappointment, frustration, self-loathing, which makes you want to eat. That makes me want to cry. You guys know me, I'm a crier. I've been there. I get it. You know what I'm saying? And not having control and feeling tied to these things is, oh God, what's the word I'm looking for? It's debilitating. I get it, okay? I have been there, you guys. You have no idea what I have, you know, where I was like in my early 20s. I could tell you some stories and some fucked up things at that. So I know that I feel that I was given those challenges to put me here today to help you, because I understand, you know, it's not like I am just somebody that's feeling like better than or superior to because I know this knowledge. It's because I know it, because I've lived it, I've breathed it, I've been there. So I know what goes on in your brain. You know, the difference between me and you is just that I might be a little bit older and I've experienced it. You know, so I'm just like 2 steps ahead. You know what I mean? And that's what it's all about. But I do understand the struggle is real. You know, it is so real. It is something that for some people, like, it's devastating. You know, I so often times will cry on the phone with people because I just hear their desperation and not knowing what to do because they just don't understand. And then, you know, when I can explain some of these things and share, like, this is what we need to change, then it's like, oh my gosh, they feel like a whole weight was lifted, right? So the thing is that it comes down to control. And the sucky part is that all around us is that there are marketing ploys to make you think that it is quicker and easier than what it is, because it takes time and it takes effort and it takes the desire to want. Okay, you have to want it. You have to want to go through those uncomfortable hallways, which I call it the uncomfortable hallways. If you're not willing to go through uncomfortable hallways, then you're not willing to change, because that's what it takes to change, is go through those uncomfortable, shitty, yucky, dark hallways at times. The discomforts, you know, the discomforts of the growing pains of personal growth is what I like to call it. And in order to really make a change, especially in your diet, because this is the thorn in most people's sides. This is the thorn that keeps people awake at night. Why am I not losing weight? Or why am I this size? Or why do my pants fit me so yucky? Or how come it's her and not me? Or why can't I look like her? You know, those thoughts that keep you up at night staring at the ceiling? I understand, you know, but it is more than just changing foods. It's more than just drinking a shake. It's more than taking supplements. It's, you know, it takes a village of things, not just people or a team. You know, a coach is helpful, yes, you know, and that's what I'm here for. Like, that's why I created my program. And this is why, you know, I created this group, was to help you. So that said, I hope that this live was informative. I hope that you took some nuggets of information, and I hope that it gives you some quick wins. I hope that it gives you some reminders, or maybe it gave you an aha moment and understanding of this is why you're at where you're at, you know. And don't give the scale so much power, okay? I hope that this live gave you a better understanding of that fucking scale. Seriously, that thing, I could just, you know, like I was joking, I don't know if I said it in one of my lives, but maybe it was in one of my coaching groups, and I said I should have a scale bashing live, you know, where everybody, or Zoom, a scale bashing Zoom, so everybody can see each other trashing their scales, because they just make me crazy. So anyway, thank you so much for tuning in. And I will see you guys tomorrow night. I don't remember exactly what the topic was. I think tomorrow I might be talking about branched chain amino acids, which are pretty freaking incredible. So thanks again for tuning in. I love you all. Thanks again for your support and believing in me. And if you are interested in my November Academy, now is the time to go check out the site, which is the metabolismrebootacademy.com. You have an opportunity to win a scholarship. I give one scholarship away every single class. And yeah, we'll be launching on the 27th. So message me if you have any questions, and I will talk to you soon. Bye, guys.